Fabulous fabric from the land of the five rivers.
He's gone! 10-5 touchdown! Raiders!
2 years ago, when we came to Los Angeles, I really believed that the greatness of the Raiders would be in its future.
What's going on? We back for another edition of the 50 and 50 show, man. We appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hey, also, you know what? Hey, man, I gotta say something real quick, man. I was able to get to 4K, y'all, man. I appreciate y'all, man.
What?
Yeah, man. It's a big number for me. I appreciate it. I was able to get to. I just thought about it right now too. Like, man, it's been crazy last few days, but I appreciate it. Appreciate the support. Appreciate everybody coming through, man. Everybody's patience. Man, we got a fun show to talk about, man. We got a lot of things to talk about as far as the Raiders, Combine, all that good stuff, and what the Raiders are going to be doing moving forward. But man, like I said, man, I appreciate everybody coming through. So let's get into the chat, man. We see people pulling up already.
Facts.
My guy, Space Beast in the building. He says, yo, what's good, man? Appreciate you coming through. My guy, Raph, is in the building. Says, what up, nation?
Capitan.
Let's go, man. Egalitarian in the building, man. We got Thrash. My guy, Thrash is in the building, man. My mod right here. Yo, I thought I was late. Let's go. Hey, you already know, man. The 50-50 show is a late night. It's a late night show, man.
Late night show, man. You know what it is.
At this point, it's a late night show. So, hey, man, if you guys pulling up, man, make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Hit that notification bell. The road to 5K continues, man. And like I said, man, I was able to hit a big number for this channel. Was able to get to 4K. I appreciate everybody's support. and we're gonna continue to grow this channel, man. So, but yeah, man, there's a lot to talk about, man. The combine, the Raiders possibly trading up, and what that looks like, especially because last week we talked about what Tom Telesco was going to be doing at the combine and talking to all these GMs and coaches and just getting a temperature of what it's going to look like to get to that top five, whatever, get into that top 10 and get their quarterback. I know a lot of people in Raider Nation are talking about Jaden Daniels and Drake Mays, Caleb Williams, but hey, possibly even a McCarthy, whether you like it or not, because the Raiders right now, they are get a quarterback or go home. That's their attitude, it seems like. But we'll see how everything shakes out. But yeah, man, let's get into it, man. Let's get into it, man. I see everybody pulling up, man. My guy, Digital Prez in the building, man. Raiders Resistance coming through, man. Appreciate it. And he has a question for you. He says, Severe, what did you say to AP in your interview?
I told him to come up. I told him to come up and get me a 3. I told him to trade up, man. I told him to trade up, but I told him we should have benched Aiden O'Connell versus the Vikings. But
well, hey, if y'all don't know, man, hey, man, Severe just came from AKA Jaden Daniels. Just he came through after a long weekend, a long week at the combine, man. He killed it.
Getting ready for my pro day, training for my pro day.
Yeah, man, but yeah, let's get into it, man. Hey, look, like we said, like it's the combine, bro. It's the combine officially completed. Hold on one second, I just did something that I wasn't supposed to do. But just take it away if you want to start off the conversation about the combine and what your thoughts were over the weekend.
Yeah, man.
Last week.
The combine, man, it's it's an annual event. The NFL holds. But there are some things that that have been bothering me about the combine, especially as of late.
Mm-hmm.
The main thing is that the top prospects, more and more of these guys are starting not to show up. And initially, it was certain events they wouldn't do, like some guys wouldn't do the bench press, or some guys wouldn't do the vertical jump, or some guys wouldn't run the 40. But now it's starting to get to the point where guys not even like participating at all, right? Guys are like. This year, like you look at the 40-yard dashes. I think in the first grouping there was one guy, and then in the second grouping there was like 3 players that were quarterbacks that ran the 40-yard dash. It was like, come on. And more teams are starting not to show up as well, man. So it's getting to the point like, how useful is the combine really if the top guys aren't showing up, and if teams are opting not to show up as well?
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. Will we start to get to a point where, hey, we just do everything at the Senior Bowl, or we just put more focus on what these guys do at their pro days? Because if you think about it, especially for quarterbacks, I said in the past, it's kind of understandable that quarterbacks don't want to go there and throw, because you get there and you're throwing to receivers you've never thrown to before. You've had no real prep time with them at all. And that's not what you're going to actually do in the NFL, right? In the NFL, you're rarely or probably never going to be in a situation where you're getting out on the field, throwing to receivers you have absolutely no rapport with at all. Like, that doesn't happen. You have, mini camp, OTAs, training camp, practices, all that stuff to build that chemistry and build that timing and get that familiarity with those wide receivers. So rarely will you ever be in a situation where, hey, let me get out here and just throw to some guys I've never thrown to before. So that's not like a realistic simulation of what an NFL quarterback is going to do. So how useful is that really? And I know these scouts always want to see a quarterback, want to see how the ball comes out of their hand. They want to like feel it, see how fast they can drive it, all that stuff. But like the NFL is based on timing and accuracy. So it's good to get a feel for guys, power and see how the ball comes off their hand. But most of what you're going to be doing is going to be based on timing and based on accuracy, and it's really hard to have that when you're put in that kind of situation.
Yeah, man. Look, the combine, man. I think it still holds value. I know we're hearing that, you know, some of these coaches are not coming out. They're just going to trust the tape that they're breaking down, and obviously they can easily look up the numbers of who tested at, you know, well at certain positions. But I think it still holds a lot of value because think about what's happening in the combine. When we talked about Telesco last week, it was talking about we talked about how he needs to talk to some of these coaches and these NFL execs and try to get a temperature of how he's going to possibly trade up and make moves. And they're all going to be in one place. So it still holds value. I think where a lot of people are getting confused is the fact that the top prospects are not showing up because they don't have to. It's smart. Let's be honest. Like, it's smart. Why risk like lowering your value when everybody knows, and it's all coming from their agents. I'm sure, like the people that's in their ear, they're probably telling them like, hey, you don't have to run because at this point, like, you're considered the best receiver in the draft, aka Marvin Harrison. Same thing with Caleb Williams. He doesn't have to do anything because like Caleb Williams is not going to drop out of the top 3. Like, it is what it is, man. I think for those types of prospects, they're not going to, and even some of the guys that did show, I mean, they all showed up. They just showed up for different reasons, to talk to teams, to go over medicals. Yeah. In Caleb Williams' case, I think that he was like, nah, we're not going to go through that 3-hour process of, you know, going through a physical at the combine and all that, because he knows like he holds all the leverage because he's the guy that's going to be a number 1 pick, most likely. So for guys like that, I understand it. Like, even for a guy like JJ McCarthy, like for him, he doesn't really have to run that 40-yard dash. Why? Because you can see that the guy is able to, you know, get away from certain defenders in college. Like, he was a mobile QB. So a lot of QBs, they didn't have to really go out there and prove that they can run the 40. But in his case, people are questioning the fact that, like, he didn't really throw too much in a running offense. So he wanted to show off his arm. Smart. Guys like Michael Penix, you know, you're not going to really question his mobility. That wasn't really in question. But he knows that, like, due to his injuries, and he's gonna probably show his strength. So he's gonna go out there and throw the football. So it made sense for him to throw at the combine. So I think it's just all strategic. So all these little games that these agents are in their, you know, they're like basically the players' ears telling them what to do, what not to do, how the league views them. It all makes sense. So I'm not really mad at it. It's just, as a fan, we do want to see what would Caleb run at a 40? You know what I mean? What would Marvin Harrison run at a 40? Or Marvin Harrison Jr.? You know what I mean? You want to know some of these numbers. And I think some of these guys, I think Jaden Daniels is going to run at his pro day. So I think some of these guys are going to probably perform some of these tests at their pro day possibly. Who knows? Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting, man. It's definitely going to be interesting. But I'm not putting too much on it. I'm not going to put too much on it. But yeah, let me get to the chat, man. I appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to hit that like button. We got a super chat man here, man. Let's shout him out real quick. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna put him on the screen here. We got
on the big screen.
We got Derek Luden with the soup. Appreciate it, man. He goes Raiders. I got you, bro. I got you. He said, how's it going, fellas? I'm thinking Raiders trade up for McCarthy. AP said he wants a fluent speaker and leader. All other QB struggles, talking lots of ums. Hey, he's funny as hell. Yeah, I did hear AP say that. He wants a leader. But he also says that it's going to be a group decision too as well. Like, it's not going to be a decision where he makes. He wants to be super aggressive and get his guy. And I've read up on how some people view AP as a guy that's on a short leash. How do you feel about that, man? When people talk about AP and say that he's on a short leash, he's not going to really have a lot of time to prove that he can develop this team. Like, do you think he gets more than a year? If let's say it gets off to a slow start?
Oh, he definitely gets more than a year. It depends on how bad. I mean, I kind of said this, before the 50-50 show, when you and Ray were doing your show, and the same thing about Josh McDaniels. I don't think it's necessarily a win-loss thing. It's more of a team dynamic thing and direction of the team. thing, right? If things are heading in the right direction, guys are playing hard. He has the locker room. Guys are still playing hard for him. They're still out there giving their all. I think that'll buy him some time. If it ever gets to a point where the team quits on him, which I doubt that will happen in year one, then it could be a situation where Mark Davis pulls the plug. But I think he has more of a leash than ever, just because Gruden, Josh McDaniels, Dave Ziegler, Mike Mayock, and then you want to be paying Antonio Pierce too. Like, you paying all these guys not to work for you. You want another guy not to work for you and be on the payroll. So I don't think Mark wants to do that, and I think he understands that Antonio Pierce, he's a young head coach, never even been a coordinator in NFL. There's going to be some growing pains. Why I think Antonio Pierce was very, very intelligent and very smart was that he hired for his weaknesses. He's not a guy that has experience as a head coach in the league. So, hey, I'm going to bring in Marvin Lewis, and I'm going to bring in Joe Philbin, and I have, Tom Coughlin as an advisor for me. I'm not an offensive guy. I'm going to bring in an offensive coordinator that has play calling experience. I got a wide receiver coach that's been an offensive coordinator before. I got Joe Philbin, who was an offensive-minded coach, been an O-line coach before. So I think that he kind of was able to mask some of his deficiencies. Then he also has that coach that is just for like game management. I forgot the guy's name, but he has a coach that's specifically just like a game management coach, a guy that's going to be in charge of, hey, do we challenge here? Do we call timeout here? Like a guy that's specified for that. And AP gets to do what he does best, and that's just be the CEO and be a leader of men and set the tone, as a head coach. So I think he was intelligent.
Yeah, and I don't believe this. I hope that AP succeeds, and he gets more than 1 year. I think he does. I want to say he deserves that, but I feel like I don't think it makes sense for the Raiders to just to give him 1 year shot. But there is some people who are speculating like, hey, look, they're not really high on AP, and if it doesn't work out year one with his experience, they're like, you know what, it probably makes sense to go with someone that was a more qualified candidate. Hopefully that's not the case. But it does have me wondering, though, at the same time, like, if AP gets, for whatever reason, I know we're talking about some off topic, but if AP were to get fired, do you think Tom Telesco would go at the same time? Do you think he would go?
I doubt it. I don't think this is not like a Dave Ziegler, Josh McDaniels thing where – the only reason we didn't go with Ed Dodge last year was because, pretty much we wanted to hire Josh McDaniels so badly that he wanted to bring in Dave Ziegler as his GM. So we understood that was a package deal. It's a little bit of a different scenario this time where those two guys are separated, right? We know it's AP. In fact, we hired AP first. So it's not even, they're not really connected at all. And Tom Telesco can always have that ace up his sleeve where, this is a head coach I inherited. It's not a guy I hired. So I think, he'll be able to fall back on that, and I think he'll be able to keep his job if AP were to get fired. But like I said, that's not happening after 1 year.
Yeah. And hey, I know we went off topic real quick, but Derek Lewin did say that he says, I'm thinking the Raiders trade up for McCarthy. I wouldn't be totally against it, because if it's their guy, if they went ahead and said, this is our guy, then whoever that is, to be honest with you, I'm gonna be all for whoever that quarterback is. Just don't give me a quarterback where they got a noodle arm that's super old and there's nothing to work with there. You know what I mean? I think McCarthy, I wouldn't be mad at it. I just don't want it to be a guy where like that was our like 5th, 6th option. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't force it in the first round. If there are better players on the board, like offensive tackle, like a cornerback position, and we'll get into all that later on in the show as far as who the Raiders should get later on in the draft. If we don't, draft that quarterback position. But yeah, I just don't want us to force a pick, and that's where I'm at with it. And I know Severe, you're not a big McCarthy. You're not a big fan of McCarthy.
I will say this. If we trade up and we select JJ McCarthy, I want everybody fired. I want Mark Davis to sell the team to whoever. Everybody must go. like immediately. He's not that guy, man. He's not that guy. I keep telling people he's not that guy. People think he's going to be Justin Herbert, but like Justin Herbert, I want to say the year before he came out, people were
That
talking about
comparison?
Justin Herbert.
I
Yeah,
didn't
a
hear
lot of
that.
people say,
I,
well,
I heard the comparison to Justin Herbert was Drake May.
Drake May. No, but in terms of, so Justin Herbert didn't put up like super gaudy numbers. He was like, when people were drafting Justin Herbert, it was projection, right? What can he be in the NFL? And it's kind of the same thing with Drake May, except not Drake May, with JJ McCarthy. Drake May actually had like a really like stellar sophomore season, I want to say, and he kind of regressed this past year. But JJ McCarthy has never had like a great college season, so you're drafting him exclusively on projection, and he's already like a slender guy, and he was like, I don't want to get into this whole JJ McCarthy thing, but I don't know this. If we trade up for JJ McCarthy, bro, I want everybody gone.
Hey, Derek, man, I appreciate the super chat, but we got another super chat. My guy, Raider Smoke 89, man, appreciate it. He says, salute to you both. After a 12-hour work shift, I got to tune in. What you guys think of rumors of Daniels falling out of the top 3? JJ rumored to be the third QB. Hey, man, you beat me to it, man. I appreciate it. Hey, that means a lot, man. After a long day of work, you want to come through and chop it up, talk football, Raiders football specifically, man. I appreciate you coming through, and I appreciate the super chat. But, yeah, man, this is something that I wanted to talk about, too, as well, is that there are some people, and this might be smoke. You know, it's smoke season. We all know what that is. There's going to be a lot of different rumors, but there are some people who are saying that McCarthy is viewed as a guy that can translate well into the NFL compared to some of these QBs. And he might be a guy that the NFL views as a top 3 QB, which means that whoever's in that top 3 is going to drop. And most likely they're saying it's Jaden Daniels. Now, if that's the case, it's kind of a good thing for the Raiders because that's a guy that they are targeting. You know, I feel like they're making it known at this point. The Raiders media, from the coach, everybody knows that the Raiders are going after Jaden Daniels if given the opportunity. But what are your thoughts on it, man? I think it's a win for the Raiders. I think it's a win for the Raiders because I really believe that AP wants to get his guy from Arizona State, the guy that he recruited in Jaden Daniels. And there was a clip the other day about and you know what, I probably should have put that up earlier. But Jaden Daniels talking about if he were to go to the Raiders, and he was just like, his reaction was like, man, I don't know what I would do. Like pretty much saying that he wants to go to the Raiders. But what are your thoughts, man?
Bro, I don't even do drugs, but let me get some of that. Let me get some of that smoke. Let me get some of that smoke.
Man, for real,
bro.
Man.
That is know what that's like? Remember last year how everybody, except me, I want to make this disclaimer, everybody but me, CJ Stroud, he's never going to be a success. Did you see his S2 test? His S2 cognitive test? He's going to be a bum. You cannot draft this guy in the top 10. He cannot be. He can't. And then what happened? He was second overall pick, and he was the best rookie quarterback possibly of all time. So it's all smoke. I'm sure some of this stuff is teams that are floating it, hoping that Jaden Daniels falls. I'm sure this is some of JJ McCarthy's representatives that's floating stuff like that, hoping it'll push him up draft boards. It's, most people didn't think JJ McCarthy should have even came out this year. So you're going to tell me now he's going to go over the guy that had one of the greatest college seasons of all time? Like, a season rivaled only by Joe Burrow's season before he was a number 1 overall pick. Like, yeah. I don't see that happening.
Yeah. Nah. Yeah. Hey, if it happens, I think it's man, the Raiders finally, at some point we got to get some type of luck on our side. Like, come on, like we need to get. We would love it. As the Raider Nation would be going crazy if that happens.
That would be like when we drafted Jamarcus Russell over Calvin Johnson. Detroit was like, what? Like, wait a minute. What happened?
I was, man. I remember when that happened, and back then, we was all just looking at it, and we were not like, we were all young and stuff like that. But at the same time, we were like, Calvin, how do you pass up on a guy 6'5", 4.3 speed, over 40-inch vertical, and how do you? I just, it's crazy because that's an Al Davis special right there. You know what I'm saying? But what did Todd McShay say? He said that Al Davis couldn't pass up on the great. He said it was like the greatest. To be fair, like Jamarcus Russell had like the greatest pre-draft workout.
Greatest pro day, yeah, the greatest pro day.
To this day, Todd McShay was like Jamarcus Russell, hands down. Like it was the greatest workout I've ever seen.
Oh, boy said that too. Mel Kiper Jr. said the same thing. It's like I think Mike Mayock said something similar because he had a crazy arm, but it's one of those things where his work ethic, bro. I remember I wanted Calvin Johnson, and then what's crazy is that what pissed me off even more is that week 1 of that year, I want to say it was week 1. Jamarcus Russell was sitting out, and Calvin Johnson caught a touchdown pass against us. I was like, this is ridiculous.
Damn. And I remember. Do you remember? Oh man, I remember that game that Calvin Johnson had against the Raiders. Remember, it was that was a huge action coach team where we had like a possible chance of making it in the playoffs. Yeah. And for whatever reason, we had Rolando McClain.
Oh my goodness!
That deep throw. That was like that. Man, Calvin Johnson. I think he had like over 200-some yards. I don't know how many touchdowns. That was that was hard to watch, bro. That was hard to watch, man.
Calvin Johnson was that guy. I remember we was talking about Randy Moss, T.O., Calvin Johnson. I remember I don't know what DB said this, but they showed the picture of I think Calvin Johnson was playing the Saints, and they was like at like the 5-yard line, and the Saints had 2 DBs lined up against them. Yeah. And they're like, yo, bro, until you see this happen to somebody else, I don't want to hear no talk about somebody being better than Calvin Johnson.
Yeah,
no talk at all. They lined up 2 DBs on him at the line of scrimmage. It's not like we about to bracket you. We got 2 dudes at the line of scrimmage for you.
It looked like they were punting the football. You know how you got the gunners,
bro.
That's what it looked like. But yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy. But to be honest with you, my 2 guys like that's no one comes close to, in my opinion. But I grew up watching them is Randy Moss and T.O. But Calvin Johnson is obviously up there, like talent wise. But T.O. and Randy Moss is up there, and obviously, but greatest receiver of all time is definitely Jerry Rice, and I give it to him because of longevity. And everybody forget about Timmy Brown, man, the quarterbacks he had to play with, and still put up Hall of Fame numbers.
That's what I was saying. And Tim Brown blew up his knee his second year. He blew up his knee, and he was a speed guy coming out of college, right? Mm-hmm. He was a guy won a Heisman at Notre Dame. He was a speed guy, blew up his knee. And then he still went on to have a crazy successful career with some of the most bummiest quarterbacks any great wide receiver has ever had. Like all the other great wide receivers for the most part have had a dog, except Tim Brown.
Yeah, man. But we Raider Smoke 89 with another super chat. Appreciate you, my guy. He says, I know you guys heard what Lombardi said. Hey, man, you beating us to the punch right now. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about that in a second. But let's get into a little bit of what happened during the combine. Some of the guys that we felt like were winners, man. I think a big winner, man, what confirmed it was like this wide receiver class, bro.
Crazy.
Super talented. Like you got guys running 4.3, 6'3, 6'4, 40-inch vertical from every direction. From you got Adonai Mitchell.
Texas, yeah.
Dude is a monster. Then you got Brian Thomas Jr. who had a nice little combine too as well. Man, and my guy from Washington, Romeo, this dude.
Yeah. Adunze.
Yeah, Dunze, man. Dude's a monster. I like that he came out and he was competitive. A lot of the receivers, because he didn't really have to. He could have pulled a Marvin Harrison Jr. and not show up and be like, you know what, I'm going to be the second receiver taken, man. But he went out there and competed, and he kind of proved that, like, he should be the guy that should be up there to be taken, arguably number. I wouldn't put him over Marvin Harris Jr. I think he's just slightly below him, but he's a monster, man. Like, people comparing him to Davante Adams, man. That's the comparison that people are talking about. So, That's definitely
that's
high praise. But
that's
overall, the
high
wide receiver
praise.
classes, they came out and showed out and showed that like this is, and it makes you think too at the same time is like, the Raiders are in a situation where we have a lot of money tied up in that receiver room. And I'm like, man, if we had someone ruthless in that front office, that was just, and when I say ruthless, I mean like, you know what? We need to go cheap at this. Like, there's no reason why we should put all this money at the receiver position when we need to make upgrades in the trenches, D-line, O-line, whatever the case may be, because that's too much money. You got from the Hunter Renfro, which most likely he's going to be cut this offseason. I'm sorry, but it's a luxury to have Davante Adams and Jacoby Myers on the outside, especially when they're the two kind of similar type of receivers, not really speedy guys. Definitely can get open, definitely can win contested catches, but it's just like, and I guess that's where Trey Tucker comes in. Trey Tucker comes in and makes everything work, but it just makes you like, man, like if the Raiders were really like shrewd, if they want to really make a shrewd move, this is where you kind of trade a Davante Adams and get some value while it's high and not wait till the last moment. But they're not going to do that. We talked about that before. They're not going to do that. But
I don't know, man.
Yeah, and it's not even just the receiver group too. The O-line group showed out too as well. Deep class, D tackle, deep class. Oh, and Al Davis special, the other Texas receiver, broke the 40-yard dash time. He ran like a 4.21, crazy, 4.21, 40-inch vert, and I was like, man, is this? It's kind of he's similar to his size as far as he's kind of similar in Henry Ruggs' size, but kind of different types of receivers because like Henry Ruggs, he was a lot more physical. Compared to
Henry Ruggs was more Henry Ruggs was more built. Like Xavier Worthy is skinny as all get out. Like Henry Ruggs was slim, but he wasn't like skinny. Like Xavier Worthy is skinny.
Well, he's skinny and then like he is pretty fast. He does got the 40-inch vertical, but he has smaller hands and he's not as physical. He's not as physical.
And he had a problem, and he didn't go through the field workouts. And part of that I want to say is because he had a problem with drops in college. And so I think it might have been a situation. He goes through those workouts and he just starts dropping balls left and right. Like right now, he did a smart thing. He broke the record, ran the fastest 40 time ever. That probably pushed him from maybe, second round pick probably into the first round. He might have snuck into the back end of the first round, but he's probably like solidly in the first round now. If it push a guy like John Ross's stock up that high, I'm sure it's going to push Xavier Worthy up because Xavier Worthy was actually, a pretty good receiver. He just had an issue with drops. So we'll see, man. We'll see.
Yeah, man. Look, like I said, O-line, D tackle, receiver, man. This is a great offseason, especially if you think about like some of the guys that's going to be available in free agency. The Raiders could really add some talent to this D-line, but we'll get into all that. What were your thoughts, man? Guys that popped up. I can talk about some of the guys in just a second, but what were your initial thoughts as far as like what you noticed about the combine?
So one of the guys I've been having my eye on for a little while now is a dude out of South Carolina, Xavier Legette. Dude is, they call him like the next DK Metcalf or like Deebo Samuel. He's one of those like physical, built, rocked up dudes, and you think he ran like a sub 4.40, crazy physical dude, crazy fast. He displayed that, that speed and athleticism at South Carolina. Was Spencer Rattler's favorite target there. So he's a guy that stuck out to me. Another guy that stuck out to me is, my favorite corner. I don't think he was rated the number one corner, but after coming out of this combine, he may be the number one corner, and that is Quinyon Mitchell. That dude ran a crazy 40, jumped out the gym. He dominated, at the Senior Bowl, he dominated everybody that put in front of him. And his only question with Quinyon Mitchell is this level of competition. And they had some questions about whether or not he can play in man coverage. At the Senior Bowl, they had him in man. He locked everybody up there. I think he locked Roman Wilson up, who was a national champion, quote unquote. Liked him up there, and then he went out to the NFL Combine, and he was his athletic scores were the highest there of any defensive back. So I think he's just checking off boxes one by one, and he's a guy that if we do stand pat at 13, I wouldn't mind us taking him and sticking him across from Jack Jones.
Yeah, and the thing about you said Keon Mitchell, right? A lot of people they're projecting him to be like a scheme fit in a zone type of system, like a zone cornerback. He kind of like plays well when he plays off man coverage. But would you want to draft a guy like that in the first round? When you like, for me, the corners that I like, man, are guys that mano y mano, the cover corner that you can put on somebody and take away a receiver. I feel like those are the guys, man, you want to draft high. I don't know if you want to draft a guy like Keon Mitchell first. I mean, you got guys like Nate Wiggins and obviously Terrion Arnold, who looks like the alpha out there at the cornerback spot, and a leader too, which is kind of like different. A leader at cornerback spot. Usually those are guys that are kind of flashy, talking a lot, or you know what I mean, like. Yeah. But he seems like a guy that would come into the locker room and become a big time leader from Alabama. But I don't know if a Keon Mitchell do you project him to be a number one corner? I would think that he may be number two, possibly, but
nah.
But he did show out. He did show out as far as his combine though, running a 4.3. He got a little bit of the measurables too as well. But for me, another guy that really showed out, and this is just foreseeing something that I said last week about Josh Jacobs, possibly not coming back because someone's going to offer him more money. Now, if we're not going to be offering more money, then that means we're going to go cheaper at the position. And if that's going to be the case, most likely we're going to do the running back by committee. And either we get a veteran through free agency cheap, or we draft running back in this upcoming draft, which there's no star running backs coming out, but then there's like some talented guys that are coming out. And a guy like that was talented that showed out, Isaac Guerendo.
Louisville.
Whoo, man, this boy had he tied Darren McFadden 40-yard dash 4.33, 41-inch vertical. I mean, 41-inch vertical doesn't really. We're not going to throw him fades, this guy, but it shows how explosive he is.
Exactly.
221 pounds, big dude. And I'm not saying we get him in the first round, second round, but hopefully he's around maybe fourth, fifth round, possibly. But I just think, man, when you see those numbers, I start thinking about like guys that, that we had in the past, like, running back, that we got from, I forgot his name, but that being said, then I think he really showed out. I think he increased his stock a little bit. And that was a guy that was a big winner from this combine. Obviously, I mentioned
Michael Bush.
Not Michael Bush. Not Michael Bush. Man, I'm trying to think of his name. Murray.
Traded? Latavius Murray.
Yeah,
Murray. Okay.
He kind of, because both 6 feet tall. 6 feet, 6'1". You know what I mean? We remember Murray. A lot of us was like, man, 6th-round pick. Guy ran a 4.3 at a 4-yard dash. That's the guy. And people might sleep on Murray because like he wasn't like dominating with the Raiders, but look how long he's played in the NFL.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? He was a serviceable running back.
Oh yeah, no, very serviceable. The Tay Train. I never liked that. I never liked that nickname. But one thing I would say about Guerendo is that one thing I say about Guerendo is that when I watched him play, I didn't see a guy that was 4.3. So it's one thing to run a 4.3, and it's another thing to play, like you have 4.3 speed. And he's not a guy that I ever really saw play like he had that kind of speed. Like, and perfect example, like how we were talking about T.O. earlier, right? I'm sure T.O. probably didn't run a fast 40 coming out of Tennessee, Chattanooga, but you put the football in his hands, you put some pads on him, that dude is one of the fastest guys in the league, and I just didn't see that out of and he wasn't, not like he's playing in the SEC where there's like some crazy athletes there, right? He plays for Louisville, and he wasn't able to and athletically separate from those guys on a consistent basis. So I have troubles, believing he'll do that at the NFL level.
Right. And we got another super chat. Derek Ludeman, appreciate you, my guy. He says, Jaden is my first choice, but I don't see him falling past the Commanders and too much to get to the first pick. Yeah, and that goes to, Vic Tafur. Vic Tafur, one of the beat writers, and a lot of the NFL kind of knows this as well. The Raiders have they don't even think it's going to be, they're going to do their due diligence, but they're kind of going into it like right now, like it's probably going to be hard to get to that top 3, especially if, the people that own the top 3 pick got to be willing trade partners and willing to trade it down to 13, especially you got other teams in front of the Raiders that have need at quarterback. You hear Kirk Cousins possibly might go to Atlanta. That means Minnesota Vikings, who pick ahead of the Raiders. It's another team that's going to be willing to trade up to get their guy. You know what I mean? And that's competition. So yeah, man, I just don't see it. I think possibly 5 to 7 that's what's been reported, is that they're looking into that. But that's if it's somebody that they covet is in that range, and we'll figure that out. Most likely, if you're going to trade up, man, it's going to be for a QB. Most likely, or maybe an O lineman, maybe the top O lineman on the board, possibly. But I don't know if that would be worth it. Like, you just pick the best guy at number 13.
Exactly. I'm not trading up for O lineman if it's going to be a right tackle, right? I'll stay at 13, and if Uwaga or Latham falls to me, if we absolutely want to go right tackle there, then go with one of those guys. I think it's going to be very difficult to get up to number 3, but there's a chance. There's a possibility. It can happen. And I think the Raiders will exhaust all of their options and all of their resources in pursuing that top 3 pick. I think right now they're saying they're comfortable. Like I said, it's all smoke. I think right now they're saying, hey, you know what? They're saying we're comfortable going in 5 to 7 range, just because it doesn't make them look as desperate to get up to 3. Just like when we heard those rumors about AP saying, "Oh, I'm okay with Aiden O'Connell." Yeah, that's because you've spent months saying you want Jaden Daniels. Now there's this rift between him and Telesco, where Telesco wants to draft the quarterback and AP wants to keep Aiden O'Connell. That's all just stuff they put out there. It's smoke season. It's all subterfuge. It's all stuff they putting out there to just muddy the waters and make their intentions as unclear as possible, so teams don't know what they really want to do.
Right. And Jack Kenneth says, Nate, he says, would you trade Davante Adams to draft Marvin Harrison Jr.? Don't take in any of the QBs. Personally, I would. If anything like his dad, yes. If we trade Davante Adams, I would use the first-round pick that the Jets would have to give up because they don't have a second-round pick. So that kind of increases the value. And Jets are going to win. They're in win-now mode. I'm thinking that the Jets. That's the number 1 team that would want Davante Adams, especially his relationship with Aaron Rodgers. And they don't own a second-round pick this year. They only have a first-round pick. So, Jets are kind of win-now mode, especially for trading for Aaron Rodgers. And, a lot of people are saying, like, Aaron Rodgers is like the de facto GM over there because, like, everything is pretty much – he influences so much with that team, especially because how much they gave up to get him. And he's a top QB in this league. I think we get the Jets' first-round pick, and then we use that to possibly trade up and get our guy. If not, that's a first-round pick that we can use on another player. And we just got done talking to you about how talented this receiver class is, man. Like, there's everybody. It seemed like every receiver is running 4.3s, running 40-inch verticals, 6'2", 6'3", 6'4". Man, however way you like it, they got it. You know what I mean? So it kind of makes sense, bro, like, to get cheaper at that position. Like, we got too much money in that receiver. It doesn't make any sense. I think if the Raiders don't do anything this time next year, we're going to be talking about, like, the Raiders are going to have to trade or cut or whatever the case may be, Jacoby Myers or Davante Adams, because, like, we got to get cheaper, man. And right now we're talking about, like, we want some of these old linemen and some of these defensive players. We're going a whole different direction, different identity with AP, defensive-minded head coach. He's probably going to want to invest some resources in building his defense. and also remaking this offense. Offense failed under Josh McDaniels. It did not work. So they need to figure out, they need to rebuild this offense. And we got a different offensive coordinator. So he's going to probably want to get his guys eventually, slowly but surely. I'm not saying Davante Adams can't play for the Raiders. I'm just saying, man, $35 million is $35 million, $30-something million. Like, he's not going to get paid $30 million. I think in 2025, they're going to have to restructure that deal. Like, I don't know what they're going to have to do with that deal. It is what it is, man. But yeah, man, Amarius Mims, 6'8", 340 pounds, got a wingspan that's comparable to Giannis from the Milwaukee Bucks, man. Like, the dude is a freaking nature, you know what I mean? And it doesn't just stop with him. There's, like I said, this is a deep O-line class, perfect for the Raiders, right? A deep D-tackle class, perfect for the Raiders, man. Like, a guy that showed out was Brandon Fisk. You know what I mean? Brandon Fisk, D-tackle from Florida State. Yep, yeah. Did his thing. Ran a hot, I think the fastest 40 for a D-tackle, and I think probably second or top 5 or top 3 I think it was a shuttle time, or it was one of a 10-yard split or something like that. But I think Fisk, he did a lot to increase his stock as well. Like, and to be honest with you, man, the combine is an athlete's competition, man. It's not like the guys that are really skillful. It's not an event for them. You know what I mean? It's really about like who's the best athlete. If you want to keep it real.
Nah, facts, man. Well, to answer Jack Hender's question, I mean, it would take a lot to get it, because Marvin Harrison is going top 4, at the lowest. If you assume all 3 of the quarterbacks can go up that high, he's going top 4 at the lowest. If I'm trading Davante, I mean, I don't want to say I like this receiver better than Marvin Harrison, but Malik Neighbors, it's like if it's Marvin Harrison is receiver 1, Malik Neighbors is like 1B. He's right there. So, but he's probably going top like 9 as a pick. But there's a guy from Washington, Jalen Polk is a guy who I really like. And he's not a super fast guy, but Steve Smith Sr. loves Jalen Polk. And if you look at the history of what Steve Smith Sr. has said about wide receivers, he's usually on point. Like, before anybody was saying it, he said before anybody, he said that Cooper Kupp was the best receiver in that draft. Absolutely correct. It was another receiver he was talking about. Like, he's usually like dead on when it comes to receivers. Like, he knows what he's saying, and he loves Jalen Polk as a receiver. So he's a guy I would target. And Jalen Polk will probably be there. Could be there in the second, to be honest with you, but late first at the earliest.
And Rick L, he said I would take Fatanu over. Yeah, man, it's I'm not saying that he should be the first tackle taken off the board. I'm just looking at it from this perspective, is that, like, if the Raiders are going to probably attack a defense or maybe get a quarterback, that means in the second round, when you want to attract the trenches and maybe get the best offensive lineman on the board, because the biggest thing against Mims is, I think, is his experience. He's only had like 8 starts in the NFL. Like, so
another thing with him is that he's often injured. I want to say he got injured at the combine. Like, like, for a guy that's one of his biggest knocks is his injury history, and then like you get hurt at the combine, bro. That's not a good look.
Right. And man, my guy, Ready to Smoke 89 comes back with another one. Appreciate you, man. He says, the more I watch Penix, the more I like what I see. Unlike Fields, he's accurate with intermediate throws and gets the ball out quick. Yeah, man, I think the biggest thing from Penix is injuries, bro. Yeah. It's just where do you take him? Where you can justify, like, where you like, you know what, it's a good gamble. You know what I mean? And a lot of people have him projecting going in the second round. Possibly, I think if the Raiders go with a different position in the first round for whatever reason, because they can't trade up, their guys are not on the board that they like taking at 13, they went like O-line, D-tackle, whatever the case may be, then maybe possibly you trade up into the first round to draft Penix so you can get that extra, 5th-year option. That I can see that happening possibly with Penix, but it's just a little risky for me. at
I mean,
13.
guys know, Penix is my QB too. I got Jane Daniels 1. I got Penix QB 2. And I've won the record. Why? I'm going on the record. So
Hey,
if
bro, you
I'm
like to
wrong
live
on
on the
this,
edge, bro. You like to live on the
yeah,
edge.
bro, the things I say, man. Look, my opinions are not always popular, but I've been right. I've been right in the past. I've been wrong a fair share, but I've been right my fair share too. Like for example, nobody thought Zamir White was gonna be anything. I've been saying for a long time. Yeah, look, I see Pharaoh smiling. He knows it. He knows it's true. I see you smiling. It's facts. I was saying Zamir White, all he needed was a chance. As soon as he got a chance, what happened? I'm saying Michael
Yeah.
Penix, in terms of Michael Penix has everything you want in a quarterback. He has the starts, he has the arm, he has the mobility, he has the leadership, he has the toughness, he has all that stuff. The only thing that was knocked about, well, two things were knocks against him, was his age, because he spent that COVID year and he had all those season-ending injuries, so he had extra eligibility, and then the injury history. And from what I'm hearing at the combine, all his medicals checked out. Like medicals were good. So if he's good on his medicals, man, I wouldn't mind trading back, like taking whoever we take at 13, trading back into the first to get him, secure that 5th-year option. And he's a guy that he's plug and play. He can start tomorrow. And if he gets drafted, he's beating the brakes out of Aiden O'Connell in whatever QB competition you have. The throwing competition, a race, playing Uno, like anything you have them do, he's gonna beat Aiden O'Connell in.
Man, we'll see how it shakes out, man. And going back to Zamir, the thing about Zamir, are you gonna roll with Zamir as your number 1 guy next year? Let's say if Jacobs doesn't come back.
It's all about the committee. All about the committee.
See, I like how you went with the committee. You didn't go all in on Zamir when I said Zamir as a starter. You went with the committee.
I'm not going all in on any back. You have to be a very special back for me to say, hey, you know what? You are the guy that's going to take us to the promised land, right? Like a very special back. Josh Jacobs did it for 1 year and it immediately broke down like the very next year, right? So for me to put all my eggs in one basket, you got to be a special guy. So I'm running with a committee, and that's what most successful teams they do. They take the committee approach.
Yeah. Hey, Daniel Kim says, what do you guys think about Kenyon Coleman? I think this is another guy that probably lost over the weekend or during the combine, is because like he didn't run as well as you wanted him to be. He didn't really look as good through these drills. I think Kenyon Coleman, his draft stock is going a little bit. I think there's, at the end of the day, I don't think the draft is going to do too much to what the teams want. It's just going to confirm what they see on tape. But Kenyon Coleman, is this a guy that you feel like you think his draft stock is going up or down after this weekend?
I think after this weekend, it's probably going down. I like Kenyon Coleman though. He was a very, very productive guy. When his quarterback was healthy, like lighting it up. So I like him. It's just that it's so many guys that ran well, so many guys that put up like insane combines. Lad McConkey, it's another guy, dude out of what school did he go to? Damn, I forgot where Lad McConkey went.
To be honest with you, like, if anything, that's not even a guy that I don't think the Raiders should even target, or that type of receiver. Speed kills, but the Raiders are in a situation where we have bigger needs, right? Like corner, O-line, D-line. So I'm not even thinking about that, even though I would love to have that. But there's so much money invested in receiver room, like we can't really afford to do that. If anything, we might have to go after a cheap guy in free agency. Hold on 1 second. My bad. But hold on, we got another. Let me see if I can get to this real quick, man. Man, I appreciate the love, y'all, man. Look, all right, let's get into it. Hold on, let's see. Take it all the way. We got a super chat here. 1 second. I don't want to miss this here. We got Raider Smoke with another super chat. He says, got hurt in 21 and cleared medical. Get him. Mm-hmm. So At 13, though? Would you do it at 13? Penix at 13.
Penix? I personally, I'm not doing it at 13. Because
How do you
think,
not do
I
it?
think,
How you not doing it? He's your number 2 guy, though. He's your number 2 guy.
But that's the thing. Like, people don't understand how the draft works, right? Like, when it, like, what? So it's not a talent thing. It's a value thing, right? Like, why am I going to take somebody at 13 that's going to be available in the back end of the first round, who I think will be available in the back end of the first round, right? So it's not about and I think that's where a lot of teams mess this up, right? Like, oh, that's our guy, we got to get him, but you miss that value aspect of it all, right? Like, you have to be able to get value out of these picks, and that's something the Raiders haven't done for a long time. We have not maximized the value of these picks. Leatherwood. Like, the list goes on and on, right? Jonathan Abram, Cleveland Farrell, the list just goes on and on. So I think it's always about, you always want to maximize the value of your picks.
No, facts, 100%, man. We got another super chat from Derek Luden, man. Appreciate you, my guy. He says, did you think Hendon Hooker was a first rounder? I think Hendon Hooker came out, like, I think one of the biggest knocks on him was the fact that, like, he was really old coming out. I think he was like 25. I didn't think he was going to drop as far as he did. I thought he was going to go maybe in the second round, but I think he ended up going in the third round, right? I think third round, the Saints. Oh, no, the Lions. I think Detroit. The Lions drafted him. Did he go in the third round? I think he went in the third round.
I want to say he went in the third round, but that wasn't Hendon Hooker's only knock, right? Hendon Hooker's knocks were, first of all, he was older. Second of all, he came out of, like, a very gimmicky offense with Tennessee. And then he also had that, like, crazy injury where you knew he wasn't going to be able to play at all, basically, his first year. So I think all three of those kind of, worked against him. But he had, like, in terms of throwing the ball, like, he had, like, crazy. He was putting up some stupid numbers. But, like, people, like, Tennessee's offense was so gimmicky that people didn't know how well that would translate to the NFL. I thought he would go, like, I personally had him going in like around the third round, but there were people saying, like, he could get pushed up into the first round. There is a certain basketball player that was a point guard for the Celtics who said that he would go in front of CJ Stroud. My man Rajon.
That's an inside joke right there. But I got you. That's an inside. But yeah, man. Hey, look, we talked about the combine. It came. We seen some certain groups. It kind of confirmed what we thought already. Like we said, the O-line group, the trenches is something that the Raiders should definitely emphasize. But it's kind of hard to tell, like, where, if the Raiders trade up, then it's like, it's tough. Like, when they trade up, are they gonna give up their second round pick this year? You know what I mean? And it kind of takes them out of that ability to get some of these guys, some guys that are like whether it's O tackle, D tackle. So somehow, some way, if they can trade up, maybe keep that second round, then we can talk about, like, all right, some of these guys they can actually get. But yeah, man, it's hard to predict what the Raiders are gonna do right now. I mean, it's gonna be tough for them to trade up, but the reality is, and we'll get into the possibilities later on. But let's get into flag on the play. Let's flag.
69 offense. He was giving them the business. He played it down.
He was giving them the business, man. In this case, man, Lombardi, man. Michael Lombardi.
Oh, man.
We didn't get a chance to talk about this. This happened late last week. Raider Nation, y'all are probably aware of this already, but this guy, I'm just going to play the clip real quick for y'all just to see. Man.
He is, and Antonio Pierce keeps talking about the Raider way. He doesn't even have any idea about long sheets. He has no idea about increasing 40 times. He has no idea about the protocols and the specifics of each position, because that's essentially what the Raider way is what are we looking for at each position. It's not about playing tough. It's like when you light a torch and you draft a guy who doesn't even run a 40. You know, I mean, you clearly have no idea about the Raider way. See, this is what's just so comical. And he's talking about it because he's from Compton. He thinks he knows the Raider way. It's a joke.
Oh man, hey. Just
Man, straight up hate. Straight up, man. He was hating from the beginning. As soon as he started talking about Antonio Pierce, and maybe it has something to do with his son not being a part of the Raiders coaching staff. Maybe he didn't get that opportunity that he thought he should have got at OC. But yeah, man, Mike Lombardi went back to his hating ways. He wasn't a hater when his son was coaching, but now I guess somehow, some way he wanted to come and talk about Antonio Pierce and how he wanted him. Technically, what he's saying is not wrong. Like, he's pointing out what the Raider way means as far as the type of player that the Raiders used to target. You know what I mean? I understand what he's trying to say, but it's just that. But it's like it's kind of a stretch. Like, why are you reaching for just because Antonio Pierce is trying to galvanize that locker room? He's trying to build that team's identity. Like, he is to me, it just smells like a hater, in my opinion. But it's straight up hater, bro. Straight up hater.
You know what, man? The funniest part of that is like when dude said he's from Compton. Like, he put some mayonnaise on that Compton, bro. He put some extra on that. What's hilarious is that, like, Al Davis fired Michael Lombardi, and then Mark Davis fired Mick Lombardi. So, like, they keeping this generational beef going. Like,
man, like
Mark
father,
Davis,
like son.
Man, fact. But yeah, man, it's a whole bunch of salt there because his son got fired. I remember after Michael Lombardi got fired by Al Davis, and then he was talking all this trash about Al Davis, and then like I think Michael Lombardi went to go work for the Buccaneers, like as a volunteer job, and he got let go from that. And Al Davis was clowning up for getting let go of a job that he was working at for free. It's like, man, all these dudes are living off Vince Lombardi's name, bro, and it is terrible. It's terrible that they're doing this to this man's legacy, bro, because these dudes haven't been really a success. Like, and Michael Lombardi had some success. You know, we had that run in the late 90s, early 2000s, you know, when Michael Lombardi was here. But for the most part, bro, the Lombardis have not fared well in the field.
You mean when he was Al Davis' assistant? You know what I mean? When Al Davis was making all the decisions. Basically, Al Davis was making all the decisions. I'm sure he was in a room and he had the conversations and he pushed back with Al and all that type of stuff. But at the end of the day, like, I'm gonna give credit to Al. That was like the last probably of greatness of Al that you could probably say that he, as you know, as far as you know, him as a GM for the Raiders and owner. But yeah, man, straight up hate. We got to address it. We had to talk about it, man. Michael Lombardi just came out of nowhere. He does a podcast. So I'm not even going to shout it out, man, just because he's a hater. Yeah, we not going to shout out no haters, man. But
you ain't getting no love over here.
Man, you ain't going to get no love, man. But moving on, another flag on the play. Russell Wilson, it's pretty much official. He came out and, you know, I think he put out a tweet saying his goodbye to Denver Broncos country or Donkey country, whatever you want to call it. And obviously the team came out and pretty much announced that they're going to get rid of him, man. And they're making it official, man. Like, they're going to release Russell Wilson as soon as the league year begins. And I think it's like March 13th. So Russell Wilson will be cut by the Broncos. So he's going to be a free agent. Remember I told y'all, I said, hey, man, this is a guy that the Raiders should target. And the reason why is because we're going to look, and the reason why this is a flag on the play is the fact that how bad of a trade it turned out to be. Terrible trade. And we can look at it right here. Albert Breer kind of sums it up here. He says the cost to the Broncos of Russell Wilson's 2 years, draft picks, 9th, 40th, 145th picks in 2022, 5th, 37th picks in 2023, Drew Lock, Noah Fant, Shelby Harris, cash 24 million. Wilson went 11-19 as Denver starter with a 90.8 passer rating. So that's pretty much where it's at. Man, it's crazy, bro. How bad of a trade that was, man. But I'm not mad at it though. I'm glad it happened to the Broncos. At the end of the day, but it was a terrible trade. But it tells you how important that quarterback position is. Teams get desperate, like they want to go. And I kind of respect it. At the end of the day, you're gonna have to go and be aggressive and get your guy, but it can also backfire. And this is a perfect example of it backfiring. But this guy Russell Wilson is gonna be available. You know what I mean? I don't have it up here, but the cap hit that he's going to have for the Broncos, it's like, what, 85 mil? I think it might be spread over 2 years now, like 2 years. Yeah. It's a total of 85 million. Next year, I think it's 39 million, meaning that he can sign a minimum contract with the team, and he's still going to be paid the difference of that 39 million that he's going to be paid next year. So, man, hey, look, it just makes sense. If you're going to bring a young QB, if you're going to have a young QB room, it makes sense to have another teacher in that room, another experienced guy, not a Hoyer. You know what I mean? Not a Hoyer in that room. Like, I don't want no Hoyers in the room. You know what I mean? I don't want no Jimmy G's in the room. I want a Super Bowl winner. You know what I mean? A guy that's been out. He's played at a high level, been an MVP candidate. It's a win-win to me, in my opinion. And if it doesn't work out, they still can cut him because he's getting paid pennies on a dollar. You know what I'm saying? So I think I'm just going to double down again. Russell Wilson should be a target for the Raiders, in my opinion. But yeah, man, what are your thoughts, man, on how bad this trade was for the Broncos?
That trade was disastrous. It was disastrous for the Broncos, man. It is. I know some people talk about it being the worst trade of all time, and I think just because of the money, like how much money it's going to cost them. Just look at the draft capital. It's bad, but, it's not like Herschel Walker, Ricky Williams bad, but it is bad. But you look at the amount of money that they're going to spend on him, man. That is a whole bunch of money. And thing is that they had a chance to salvage it, right? If they didn't go to him and try to force him to take that or remove his injury guarantees, there's a chance that this team, kind of squeaks into the playoffs. They were in a position to get into the wild card. Russell Wilson was playing well, and then they kind of self-sabotaged, man. I don't think Sean Payton ever really wanted him as the quarterback. He used this as his first opportunity to get out from under him, and I think that is going to be a blessing in disguise for us if we decide to go out there and get him, sign him to a vet minimum contract. Let him beat the Broncos while the Broncos are still paying him. Oh, how lovely would that be? And then if you want to draft a guy, I still be personally against it. But if you want to draft a guy like J.J. McCarthy and sit him down, that makes sense. If you even want to, draft a guy later on, draft a guy later on like a Joe Milton, who is a guy who everybody is fascinated with his arm talent. He's a guy you can draft later on, and Russell Wilson can teach this guy how to be a pro. Kind of let him hone those skills behind a veteran like him. Or if you want to draft a guy who is very similar in body type and kind of in play style as well, and Spencer Rattler, right? That's a guy who has all the arm talent in the world. Not the greatest athlete. I think we'll talk about that a little bit later. But in terms of throwing the ball, man, he's right up there with the best throwers in this class. And he's a guy who was once thought of as a top 10, NFL draft pick until he, kind of fell apart at Oklahoma, kind of rebuilt some of his value at South Carolina. The coaches and the players there loved him. You put him with Russell Wilson, let those two guys work together. So I think this is essentially a no-lose situation. He does look like the Penguin, actually. It does look like the Penguin.
No, hey, and my biggest thing too is because you mentioned that maybe they can just draft a quarterback later. The thing is, it gives them that flexibility, but also they can still get their guy in the first round. It opens up the whole, like, they can do whatever.
whatever they want.
Because they're going to be paying him so much, like so little. Like if they paid him like a Jimmy G type contract, then you can see how like we're already paying a guy this much money. Do we want to draft a guy? You know what I mean? Like it's too much resources to one position. Yada yada yada. But when you're telling me that the guy's going to get paid a veteran minimum contract, that's not going to stop him from getting a guy in the first round, second round, wherever. But that's just my thing on it, man. It is what it is, man. But this is more about how bad a trade this was for the Broncos, and I'm happy about it. And the Raiders can still make them pay by signing this guy and having them laughing in their face while they're paying the majority of his contract, pretty much. So it is what it is, man. Man, y'all clowning Lombardi, man, but I don't care, man. That dude is a straight up hair. That boy, AJ says that boy is corny facts. Man. But yeah, man, that pretty much wraps up flag on the play. Let's move on. Let's get into the chat real quick. I think I got another super chat here. 1 second here. Let me pull this up. My guy, hey, he couldn't help it. He says,
you make sure you got that in there, man.
I got you, man. Man, yeah, man. He looked messed up, bro. He looked messed up,
bro. He's falling on hard times.
Yeah, hard times, man. But let's get into notable quotables, man. Is where we kind of point out some things that said during the week. It could be Raider related, football related, but we want to talk about it. We'll play a sound bite. Give me just a second so I can pull this up real quick. Right here. If you want to get into the chat real quick, Severe.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Look over here on the chat. I see some new people popping up in here. Welcome. I don't want to mess up this dude's name. Leaky Tupol. Salute to you, brother. Salute to
man.
you.
Appreciate you coming through, man.
Welcome. Yeah, man. I know a lot of people in here still clowning on. Oh yeah, that's thank you, Super Omnicron, Lab McConkey from Georgia. He's a guy. I mean, he's a guy. People were saying he pushed himself up into the first round of this draft. He's a guy that I wasn't expecting to be a first round pick, but evaluators are saying he's a guy that could be in the first round. They're saying people were saying there could be as many as 6 wide receivers taken in the first round of this draft, man. So this is so with all those guys, all those receivers getting pushed up, all those quarterbacks getting pushed up, all these old lines getting pushed up, it's going to be a draft where a lot of good defensive talent is going to fall. So if we that's what makes this draft so unique and makes it a perfect opportunity, as we were talking about earlier. If we wanted to trade a guy like Davante, we can still get very, very good wide receiver depth, in the second, third round, pick up another guy, and then we can still add to the defensive side of the ball with whatever we pick up from Davante as well, plus save some money and really attack free agency also. So I think, man, if we were going to do it, this would be like the opportune time to do it.
Yeah. And speaking about trades, notable quotable by a Bills GM talks about trading up. Let me go ahead and play the clip real quick.
If you can get a franchise quarterback, if he turns out to be a franchise quarterback, it'll be a good move. I mean, we got criticized a little bit for how much we gave up for Josh. And I'm like, well, if he doesn't work out, I'm not going to be here anyway. And if he does work out, nobody's going to give it.
So that's the Bills GM talking about trading up. And hey, man, it's a fire quote right there, man. He just keeping it real, keeping it honest about trading up, and man, that's how you got to look at it, because at the end of the day, man, like the quarterback is the biggest position. Which if you think about it, if Ziegler and McDaniels drafted a quarterback last year, that would have bought them. They probably would have got more time.
Facts.
And they tend to put all their eggs into the basket of Jimmy G, and look at them now.
It cost them their job, as you just said, man. Cost them their job, and that's the thing with drafting a quarterback, right? So when the Texans, they drafted C.J. Stroud number 2 overall, right? Mm-hmm. But the thing is that from what I read, they actually had Will Anderson rated higher than C.J. Stroud. But the reason that they drafted C.J. Stroud first is because they knew, hey, we can draft C.J. Stroud here. It's going to be less expensive to come up and get Will Anderson than it will be to go up and get C.J. Stroud. But they were in that position. But they knew they had their franchise guy. That's who they know. That was the guy that was going to be their franchise guy. So if you can get a guy like that, if you truly believe in him, then do it. Perfect example, right? The 49ers, they did it with Trey Lance. It didn't work out, but they were still able to go to the Super Bowl twice since that has happened. So it's like, if you're going to make that move, it's like our guy Bruce Arians, man. No risk it, no biscuit. You got to go out there and you got to be aggressive in here. If you identify a guy that you think can lead your franchise for the next 10, 15 years at least, like, why not go out there and make that move? And I know this is a different regime, but the past two regimes have been throwing first-round picks at some of the most terrible plays. Like, we wasted a first-round pick on Damon Arnett. Because you feel me? Like, now people don't want to give up a first-round pick to go up and get possibly the best quarterback in this draft. Like, come on, man. Like, if we think he's the guy, I think we got to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, Raiders says they say it's the largest dead cap hit. This is talking about Russell Wilson earlier in NFL history. Yeah, $85 million, but I think it's
more than twice the second.
It's over 2 years, so they're gonna have a dead cap hit this year and the year before, but it's combined $85 million, which is crazy. Yeah. But that's how bad the situation is with Sean Payton and Russell Wilson, and they're not even trying to make it work. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. But yeah, Rick L says Russ and J.J. McCarthy would be good. Look, Russ and whatever young QB the Raiders choose would be good. Like I said, man, it's a win-win. You're not going to lose. There's no way of losing if you're going to pay a guy with that much experience a veteran contract. We can cut him at any point. If Russell Wilson looks at AP wrong, cut. You gone. You know what I mean? You get out of here, man. I don't think that's going to happen. What I'm saying is that, like, it's just going to add more competition to the room, a lot more experience, and let the best man win. If it's Russell Wilson, that means, hey, Russell Wilson is the guy for right now. If it's not, then Russell Wilson could mentor the guy that's the future that's gonna take over at that QB spot. So it's a win-win, man. There's so many positives. The positives outweigh the negatives. Daniel Kim says, Severe Farrell, do you like Williams or Wilkins with regards to scheme? So you talking about Leonard Williams and Wilkins?
Christian Wilkins.
I think Leonard Williams would be a good scheme fit because he's already been in that system with Patrick Graham. So
Facts. Exactly.
But I think Wilkins might be the better player.
Well, but Wilkins has been in that scheme too, because Patrick Graham
with
was
Miami.
He was with Miami. Yeah.
Yep.
But I like Williams fit better. Christian Wilkins, like, he was a guy that was, he was drafted high out of Clemson that year, but he really hasn't done like a lot in the league. And when he was in college, I kind of didn't know who was benefiting more from who. Was it Dexter Lawrence that was benefiting from Christian Wilkins, or Christian Wilkins that was benefiting from Dexter Lawrence? It seems to me that, Christian Wilkins was benefiting from Dexter Lawrence. Because you've seen, Leonard Williams, he was a dog when he first got drafted. He's been a dog, when he was in New York, and then he got traded to. Then who did he get traded to? Goddamn, he got traded, and he was productive as soon as he got to his next team. So he's a guy that I think wants to be a Raider, and I think he would be a much needed addition to the interior of this defensive line.
Super Recons, technically Lombardi wasn't wrong. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. Technically, he's not wrong as far as like what he's trying to say. He's trying to describe what the Raiders look for in a player, which I'm not saying that that's not the case. It's just the fact that he went out his way to point it out and to get on AP for it. Like, it just came out of nowhere, came off left field. So obviously you're a hater. You know what I mean? You just come out. To me, in my opinion, it comes off as a hater. If you don't agree, it is what it is, man. But if someone came off left field talking about, like, what were you talking about? Like, this is pointing out, like, I'm like, all right, yeah, you're right. But I don't think AP was saying that. I don't think what AP was doing was necessarily trying to say that this is how the Raiders have always been. Which he might have said that, but I think it was more to just get that locker room to believe in what he was saying, to get Raider Nation to believe in him. And it worked. It worked.
Yeah.
It worked. So who's the smart guy now? Like who got a job in the NFL right now? Like, come on. Like, but hey, my guy, Raider Smoke 89. What another? He says, who's your guy's favorite Raider of all time? Whoo. Damn. So
easy for me, man.
I mean, the easy answer would probably be Tim Brown or Charles Woodson. So, but I'm gonna go outside of that. I'm gonna go outside of that because that's the easy answer. Like Charles Woodson.
We going outside of those guys?
Yeah, I'm gonna go outside of those guys because that's for us, for our generation. Because I'm sure there's longtime Raider fans that can say a lot of different guys like Cliff Branch or Jiv Plunkett, Kenny Stabler. They can say all that. But for us, I would say. The easy answer would be Charles Woodson and Tim Brown. For me personally, like if I were to look at other players that I really liked, man, I can go with Charlie Garner, Jerry Porter, Darren McFadden. Man, McFadden.
Yes.
When McFadden was healthy, it was at 2 years. It wasn't long. And McFadden had a moment in time where when he was healthy, bro, like you had guys like Champ Bailey calling him the best running back in the league, like one of top 3 at a position. And this was at the time, this is when Marshawn Lynch was in the league. This is when Adrian Peterson was in the league. So there was a lot of respect that was given to Darren McFadden. He was the guy. He was the best player on that team. He carried that team when he was healthy, bro.
Without a doubt.
McFadden and another guy, and I'm just gonna shout him out because man. It's gonna be the biggest what if of all time is Henry Ruggs too. He was like solely becoming I was looking forward to Sundays to watch Henry Ruggs play because you could see the development of this player, but it's just so messed up with that whole situation. But
yeah, man. Oh man, I was so my answer, easy answer, automatically Tim Brown. But if I'm going outside of Tim Brown, other guys. I gotta go to Napoleon Kaufman. Napoleon Kaufman was he didn't play long, but Napoleon Kaufman was a dog. And Marcel Reese held it down for a while. Captain Kirk Morrison. Who else, man? It's one other guy I'm trying to think of. Who else is another guy? Oh, what's my guy? Derek Burgess. Derek Burgess was a dog.
Yeah, from the Eagles. Did you trade for him from the Eagles? Was the guy did we sign him away from the Eagles or we traded for him from the Eagles?
I don't know if we traded for him. I thought we signed him.
Did he come? Yeah, but we ended up letting him go to another team, and it was like a big mistake that we let him go. But or was it him? I forgot who it was that we.
No, it was another pass rusher. It was a pass rusher though. It was another pass rusher.
It was another pass rusher we let go.
I can't remember my guy's name though. What's my guy's name? I can't remember his name. But it was a pass rusher we let go. He went to another team and he ended up being productive.
Clemens? Was it Clemens?
Yes, Clemens. Yes.
It was Clemens.
But it was another guy too. We let go. What's my guy's name? He ended up going to did he go to the Bills? I think was it Lorenzo Alexander, something like that.
That was a linebacker. Random though, bro. That was so random because he was like a special teams, journeyman player, special teams player. Then he goes to the Bills, and just gets a whole bunch of sacks. And I mean, 2 years. I don't know how long. I don't know. He didn't. It's not like he played in the league long after that. It was like a 1 year, 2 year run where he just got a whole bunch of sacks. So it's crazy, man. What a coaching staff and a scheme can do for a player sometimes, man.
Facts.
But yeah, man, I could go on and on, man. There's certain players, man, like Nnamdi Asomugha, Rod Woodson.
Yeah.
Man, Rod Woodson.
Nnamdi was a dog. Man, Rod was a dog too.
Yep, no doubt. And man, I'm trying to think. Michael Bush, low key. That running back room of Darren McFadden and Michael Bush, man, that was pretty solid room. Man, there's certain players that I like. I'm trying to think.
Zach Miller was a dog for a minute.
Zach Miller, Yeah, he was cool. He was all right, man. He was all right.
Zach Miller for a minute, man. For a minute, Zach Miller was remember in that draft, Greg Olsen and Zach Miller were both like the two highest tight ends in that draft. And at first, Zach Miller was like killing Greg Olsen, and then Greg Olsen got away from Chicago and went to the Panthers, and then he was just, he was Greg Olsen.
Yeah, but I just feel like Zach Miller was a little overrated. I think it was just a classic good player on a bad team that got a lot of targets, and then as soon as he left the Raiders, what happened? He just disappeared. He just disappeared. Like you never heard from him again. I think Seattle might have signed him. I forgot which team signed him.
But Nnamdi was the same way though.
Nnamdi same way too, bro. Nnamdi same way. But damn. He went to that overrated Eagles team. I think it was like they signed so many free agents that offseason, and it was a terrible scheme fit. Nnamdi's used to playing that man-to-man, bump and run, mano-a-mano type coverage, and then he goes and they try to have him do something else, and it is what it is, man. But yeah, man, those are some of the guys that I could think of from top of my head. I mean, shout out to Ronald Curry, who's now a receivers coach or offensive coordinator. I don't know. I think he was interviewing for offensive coordinator. Ronald Curry was the guy that I liked.
Curry.
Ronald Curry was the guy that I liked. Man,
North Carolina.
Yep. Man, I'm trying to think of somebody else. Khalil Mack. We got to show love Khalil Mack. When Khalil Mack got traded, that was tough, bro.
Khalil Mack went to the Chargers. He gets no love from me. He went to the Chargers voluntarily. He gets no love from me, bro. Get out of here.
It's a business, man. It's a business. But I hear you.
Get out of here, man. He gets no love from me. Now, who was my guy? What was number 17 with the dreads? He had he was a dog for that 1 year.
Oh, Denarius Moore.
Yes.
Denarius Moore. Bro, his rookie year? I think it might have been his rookie year.
I want to say it was his rookie year. But I remember I was at the San Diego game where we got the brakes beat off of us. We should have won and we went to the playoffs. I was there with my brother. I remember telling him, because Denarius Moore had been killing. I was telling my brother, man, watch number 17. That dude is going to be he's going to be a dog in a few years. Yeah, it just never happened for him. It never happened for him.
Yeah. No, he never really developed into that. See, Raiders, they had some young talent, but we just didn't have the veteran presence or the coaching staff to really develop that talent. Because we would get excited about certain players, but they never took that next step. So it's good to see guys like Max Crosby, who man, it looks like they gonna be future Hall of Famers or something like that, man. At this point, these guys is pretty special, but.
What about my guy? Chaz Shillings? Remember that dude?
Man, he's trash. Chaz trash, man.
Oh, Tyvon Branch. That's another one.
Hey, man, shout out to Tyvon Branch. I remember meeting him at the gym, man. He's hella cool, man. Good dude. Even though he went to the Chiefs, man, I
rescind my shout out. I take that. I take that shout out back. I like that remark. Stricken from the record, Your Honor.
Yeah, for real, man. But yeah, we got another super chat. Let's get into it, man. The chat is going crazy, man. Hey, if you haven't liked the video, make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Hit that notification bell. Should I remind them what the like button look like? Should I do it, man? See,
you gotta do it.
Hey man, it looks like a thumb. I'm serious, man. It's right in front of you. It's right below the video, man. This algorithm is very real. We appreciate the support. Just make sure to hit the like button so we can keep coming back. But yeah, man, it's been a good show so far. Let me get back into the chat. Oh, Raider Smoke says Napoleon Coffin. That's your guy. Okay.
Yes. He was
appreciate
a dog,
the super
man.
chat. Let me shout you out, my guy. But let's get into what's real, what's not, man. So, I forgot. There is another quote that we gotta, and I think if you want to go ahead and break down this soundbite.
Yeah, this is Tom Telesco at the NFL Combine. He was asked a question about the interest in Davante Adams, and he had a very short answer.
He's a Raider.
He pointed at his chest. He's like he's a Raider. He's a Raider. Yeah, man. I don't think I do believe that. I don't think the Raiders don't have any plans of trading. But let's lead. I guess we can lead off to. We can go to what's real, what's not, and in what's real, what's not. The statement is, Davante Adams will be on the Raiders roster week 1. And is that real or is it not?
I'm gonna go left field, bro. I'm going to say that it's not real.
It's not real. Oh,
Say
damn.
that's not real. All right, this is me. This is me. Me. I'm going out on a limb here. I'm going out on a limb here. I don't think there's a very good possibility that both him and Josh Jacobs are gone. Josh Jacobs deserves to be gone, but anyway, we'll talk about that. But I just think that when you look at all the things we talked about, Davante Adams, this is probably his worst year in terms of production. He's very expensive. He's on the wrong side of 30. I don't think he exactly fits in with our timeline in terms of, especially if we draft a rookie quarterback, like as that rookie matures, you rather like him and his number one receiver kind of be peaking at the same time. I don't think he fits that timeline. So I just think the most pragmatic move we can do is to trade him. Lamar Houston was a dog out of Texas. I remember that dude.
Yep.
But I think the most pragmatic move we can do is to trade him. Is a situation where, especially in a draft like this, that's so deep at so many positions that the Raiders are in desperate need of. If we can get some compensation for him, we have the de facto GM for the New York Jets, Aaron Rodgers, actively recruiting Davante Adams over there. So basically whatever we ask for, we'll probably get. So I just think that'd just be the best move for this team. And the fact that the Tom Telesco's answer, like it just struck me as inauthentic. And like he was like playing for the crowd, right? Like one of those things where I'm gonna show them that I'm not trading Davante. Like he's a Raider. Like that was so fake. Instead of being like, yo, know what? We have absolutely no intentions of trading Davante Adams at all. He's an integral part of this team, and we see him, being one of the leaders of the team going forward, and hopefully leading us to a playoff berth next year. Right? He been like, he's a Raider. Like that's so fake to me. Like, yeah, he's a Raider. He's on your roster right now. That don't mean you won't trade his ass next week. Like, yeah, he's a Raider for the moment, but somebody comes with that offer, basically he's saying like, look, he's a Raider, but I am taking phone calls, and I think that's what he was saying right there, and that's what GMs are going to take it as too. Like you're playing up for the crowd right now.
I hear you. I hear you, Severe, but I'm gonna go. That's real. I think he's gonna be on the Raiders roster week 1, even though it makes total sense for Davante Adams. For the Raiders and Davante Adams to part ways, because at this is going to be the highest his value is going to be. He's 31 years old. He's aging player, still a great player in some ways, but he's kind of, I think last year he wasn't as dominant as you want him to see, and you could probably blame that on the quarterback situation for the Raiders. But I think right now it's a perfect situation. The Jets want to win now. They want to cash in on that Aaron Rodgers trade. And they're like, you know what? Why don't we pair him up with his guy, Davante Adams, and you trade a guy like, you pair him up with the receiver they have over there, and you form a dynamic offense with him and Aaron Rodgers. And like I said earlier, the Jets, their assets, like they don't have a second round pick this year. All they have is a first round pick, and then they got some other picks as well. But like, that first rounder is going to be a pick that the Raiders are probably going to ask for. Plus, maybe from what I'm hearing, they're probably going to, like you said, you alluded to it. They're going to ask for whatever more. And I don't think the Raiders are really seriously considering trading Davante Adams, because he's just a big time guy in that locker room. He has a lot of support within that locker room from the head coach, Antonio Pierce. I just don't think it's going to happen. I personally don't think they don't have the heart to do it. if Al Davis is still the owner, if we had some guy that was with the Patriots or we had a cutthroat guy in there, I think I would believe it. You got a guy like Mark Davis who's the owner, who's a little close to the players. I don't think he's willing to do it unless, for whatever reason, he feels like it's the right decision, or if Davante Adams comes up to him and says, "I want to get traded." I don't think he has a heart to approve a deal like that. So I think Davante Adams is going to be on the roster week 1. It's a no-brainer, even though it makes total sense. I don't think they have the heart to do it. Do you think? I don't think Tom Telesco has that much power to make that move. To be honest with you, it's just I don't see it happening until Mark Davis kind of goes a little bit behind the scenes a little bit more, maybe by hiring a guy in that front office to be the football guy that he talked about in previous interviews, where he needs a guy to oversee the coach and the GM. I don't see the Raiders making these types of moves where they'll trade a player before their contract extension comes up, or a guy like that's a big time guy in the locker room like Davante Adams. He's gonna stay, man. It is what it is. He's still a good player. It's just he's getting paid a lot of money, and we're talking about a draft right now where we can grab 1 or 2 receivers. Because if you think about Jacoby Myers, I like Jacoby Myers' contract. If you think about it, he's getting paid. He's not getting paid a lot of money. It's actually a pretty good contract. Probably Dave Ziegler's best free agent signing, arguably. You can make an argument. Him and Spillane. But Davante Adams, he's getting up there in age. He's going to get paid eventually $30-something million a year. I think that's coming up in 2025. It's just like, come on, man. Like, the Raiders are going to have to make that type of move. When are they going to make those types of moves? And they kind of did it. I don't know if they ever did it with any of the past regimes, but they're going to have to figure it out, man. But I hear what you're saying, man. I think you're trying to put it into the universe. You're trying to put it in the universe. Trade this guy so we can get some assets, so we can trade up and get our quarterback. I see what you're trying to do, Severe. I see right through it, man.
And Davante is one of my favorite players. He's one of my favorite players in the league. I just think that I'm a Raider fan first. And I just think that, let's say the Jets are like, you know what, we'll trade you our first-round pick for Davante Adams. Our first and the fourth. So we traded the first and the second for him, so we're not going to get what we got for him. But we get a first and like a fourth. Or if we get Quinnen Williams, Garrett Wilson. Right now, Aaron Rodgers, he has that whole organization by the nuts and berries, right? by the sticks and berries, right? He got the Jets over a barrel. So, basically he's calling the shot. So if he wants Davante, he's gonna get it. And I know what this reminds me of. Like, remember when we had Randy Moss and Brett Favre? Ironically, because Aaron Rodgers was on the roster at the time, Brett Favre was demanding Randy Moss. He always wanted to play with Randy Moss. Mm-hmm. And Al didn't trade Randy Moss to the Packers because I think he heard Aaron Rodgers was no good, or he wasn't impressed with Aaron Rodgers or something like that. So that's why he didn't pull the trigger on the Green Bay trade. I'm pretty sure that's what I read. And we end up trading them to the Patriots, right? And the rest is history. But this is another situation where a powerful quarterback is basically, making the organization trade for a player, and we have a chance to capitalize and possibly change the future of a franchise. So I think we should do it. But hey.
I hear you, man. I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree that Davante Adams should get traded. I think he should. I mean, I think it makes sense for both parties. I think Davante Adams wants to win the Super Bowl. I think that we can be competitive, right? There's a possibility that we can be competitive, but I think if you're going to get a young QB, he's going to need some time to develop. So it's just not the best mix. Why don't you just go send him away, get a first-round pick, get some value back while it's still high? It makes a lot of sense, but I don't think the Raiders right now, I don't think they have someone that's going to make that. They don't have anybody in that building that's shrewd enough or have the power to make that move. I think Mark Davis is going to be like, no, we're not making that move, and they're not going to like. It's just not going to happen. I don't see it happening. I think it happened when John Gruden was there because Mark Davis put all his trust in John Gruden, gave him that 10-year contract, and said, "Hey, go and do whatever, go make it happen." And you've seen Khalil Mack get traded away. It is what it is. That was like the last time we've seen a shrewd move like that. We were like, damn, like right before the season, like how you trade away Khalil Mack? This is a guy that you're supposed to extend. I don't think the Raiders don't have anybody in that building that has that much power to make that move. Unless Davante comes out and says, or goes to the front office and be like, you know what? I think it's time. I think it makes sense for me to go somewhere else. That's the case. It's beautiful. We can make that happen. Raider Smokes, he talks about Justin Fargas, straight dog. I forgot about Justin Fargas. Justin Fargas is a funny running back. He just ran 100 miles per hour. He just ran straight.
In a straight line.
A straight line. He had no wiggle. He did not wiggle at all. He didn't do not a shimmy.
Man.
There wasn't a shimmy. And then someone said Lamont Jordan in the chat earlier. Lamont Jordan had to be one of the slowest running backs I've ever seen. That dude's man, but definitely not one of my favorite Raiders, man. It was some and if you guys didn't notice, man, the Raiders we've been through some tough times, Raider fans. We're naming some players that a lot of people are like, who? What?
Who?
Like,
who is these? Lamar Houston. Like who is this?
Ronald Curry, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
who?
Like
who is this dude?
Jerry
Man,
Porter,
yeah,
who's
bro.
that? You know what I mean? Like,
Chad Shillings was our number one receiver, man.
There was some tough years. Man.
Tough years. Oh man, we almost forgot my guy. We can't forget the guy who was our number one receiver for a little while. My guy, Rod Streeter. Remember Rod Streeter?
Yeah, I remember Rod Streeter, man. That
Rod
tough
Streeter
times
and
too.
Lewis,
that was also
Lewis
tough
Murphy.
Times. Another tough times receiver right there, man.
Tough times, bro, we had some tough. Oh my god. Second thought, know what? We need to keep Davante Adams at all costs. pay this man $50 million.
We getting too full of it, man. We getting spoiled, man, with Davante Adams, man. Yeah, you're right.
We done hit a little streak of good receivers now. We're like, let's trade the best receiver in the game. No what? The second thought, I've seen enough Rod Streeter and Denarius Moore. Let's just keep Davante.
Yeah. Hey, Rick L, man, I feel you. Marcus Allen. I didn't really grow up watching Marcus Allen. I know he's an all-time great Hall of Famer. But yeah, hey, Marcus Allen is a guy that would definitely fit that favorite Raider all the time. I can understand that as well. For me, like the best running backs that I see was the Charlie Garners, the Darren McFadden's. Shout out to Josh Jacobs. But Josh Jacobs was never. He had some moments where I was excited, like, oh man. But Darren McFadden, that 2-year run, bro, I thought he was gonna take it to the house almost like every other play. Like I was like, oh my god, that Jacksonville Jaguars game, man, was crazy, bro. You have it in your intro too, if y'all.
Yes.
Man, that was a crazy game.
Crazy. He was stiff arming people into the shadow realm. Then the Denver Broncos game when he just.
No, he had a crazy stiff arm too. Crazy stiff arm. But I'll say this about Darren McFadden. I'll say this about him. Like he did have there. I was concerned for a second. I thought like, oh my god, we have a bust. Like he had a hard time breaking tackles, but
he had the skinniest
thank God
legs
for
I've
Hugh
ever seen in my
Jackson.
life, bro.
Thank God for Hugh Jackson.
Darren McFadden has the skinniest legs of any running back in history of NFL, bro. I was like,
Skinniest
yo,
legs,
what is wrong
bro.
with? I was like, what is wrong with this dude's legs? Like this is
to go down so easy.
Like this is why he's so fast, because his legs is light as hell. His legs just be.
No, but you know what though? I remember the second game that he played. It might have been second. Yeah, it might have been his second game. It was against the Chiefs, and he had like a 50-yard run, and then he got hurt.
Yeah.
And that's been the story of Darren McFadden's career. Is like he gets hurt, and then he had a situation where the scheme, the offense wasn't a fit, but Hugh Jackson comes that offseason where he famously asked McFadden like, hey, what plays you want to run? What plays are you comfortable running? And that, man, the rest is history. That 2 years, 3 years he had with the Raiders, it was pretty fun watching him play.
Darren
But
McFadden stays healthy that year, man. We do some big things.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. So let's what's real, what's not, man. The next statement is the Raiders must draft a QB in the first round. Do you think that's
Man.
real or is it not?
In the first round, that is a tough one. I'm gonna go real, man. I'm going to go real. I think we played the sound of the Bills GM. You know, when they went up and drafted Josh Allen. Josh Allen, you know, he was a guy who was a raw prospect, and it's worked out. I think we have a guy right there. Everything has lined up perfectly, right? We got Antonio Pierce. We have Marvin Lewis. We have Jack Jones. Jaden Daniels is right there for the taking, man. Jaden Daniels is right there. He's a great vertical passer. We heard Marcus Johnson talk about all the cool vertical stuff that Luke Getsy was dialing up, that Justin Field was just airmailing because he's a horrible quarterback. I keep telling people he's no good. but so you put Jaden Daniels in that same system and just watch that guy shine. Oh my goodness. Imagine the excitement in Raider Nation. You have this dude, this like electric player who's ripping off 85-yard runs as a quarterback, you know, in the SEC. And you have him in a Raiders uniform. Like, we haven't had a quarterback that exciting since Terrell Pryor, I guess, but Terrell Pryor couldn't throw to save his life. Now you got a guy that can run like that and can pass. Man, I think it would just transform everything. I think, and we worry about attendance. If we sign Jaden Daniels, if we draft Jaden Daniels, it won't. I don't think attendance will be a problem anymore. You get a quarterback that is that electric, and you put him, you know, on the field. That's gonna put butts in the seats, and I think that also. I don't know if it's part of the calculation, but you know that's something that, you know, I'm sure Mark Davis would love to see.
Yeah, man. I understand. I'm gonna say not, man. And the reason why I say not is because I don't think the Raiders should overdraft, because we've seen that so many times, man. That like the last like that, you gotta understand, like at some point, man, what is the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. The Raiders have constantly overdrafted players. They've forced picks. So, you know, if they cannot trade up. Now, if they can trade up, I agree. Go get the quarterback. But most likely, these teams are going to pick the quarterback. They're going to see what the Raiders are seeing. The Commanders need a quarterback. The Patriots need a quarterback. If you're talking about Justin Fields being terrible, the Bears need a quarterback. Especially if they value a guy like Caleb Williams being a generational guy. Like, it just makes sense. You're going to have him on a cheap contract. Justin Fields is on pretty much on a one-year deal until he can possibly get extended. It's just like, okay, you know what? We still can get a talented young QB in the draft. It makes sense for us to trade away, Justin Fields. So in my opinion, I think the Raiders are going to have to take the best player available, and they shouldn't go ahead. They shouldn't force the pick. If they can't trade up, they should take the best player available. Take the best O-lineman. We just got done talking about how like this is a great O-line draft. This is a great D-tackle draft. These are both offensive tackle. Man, interior O-line. I mean, I don't think we should draft interior O-line. I mean, the only guy that you probably could think of is the center out of Oregon, but I don't think we should probably trade him.
Jackson Powers,
yeah. I wouldn't want to pick him at 13. I think we can get a tackle at that spot, a higher value position. But then you got D tackles that's on the board, you know, that we can go after. There's so many play, and then we could still maybe trade back in the first round and get a guy like you just said right now, Michael Penix. I wouldn't be mad at that. I think that's pretty smart. And you still get to improve the team. But if you overdraft like whoever it is, you know what I mean. If we pick I'm not gonna lie, I'll be mad if we pick Bo Nix at 13. I'm gonna be pissed. Like, come on, bro. Like, I'm just not gonna be as excited, man. I'm not gonna be excited, you know. And I know you're not gonna be excited if we trade up for a guy like McCarthy. And these are guys that the Raiders are gonna be connected to, because the top three guys, it looks like we're not going to be able to get. And I tried to pose a question today, and I said, if if with the combine officially being completed, the Raiders have been in multiple rumors in trading up to get a QB. That being said, is there a good chance they will not be able to trade up? And this is what you guys had to say, and I try to had you guys vote earlier on today. 1 second, let me put this on the screen, and let me get this out the way here. My bad. Let me move this out the way. My bad, y'all. Hold on 1 second. And offensive line, 36%. Cornerback, 15%. Defensive tackle, 49%, man. 49% of y'all want to get a defensive tackle at pick number 13. I'm kind of leaning toward here. I think the best players on the board are going to be offensive line at pick 13.
Yeah.
I just feel like it because with all these quarterbacks getting taken, I feel like we're going to get a great value pick at offensive tackle at pick number 13. And then, defensive tackle could be a possibility if, a guy that they coveted gets taken. I get it, but I think for me, it's offensive line. But, the Raider Nation says defensive tackle, and then cornerback is number 3. And I agree with cornerback being number 3 compared to, well, you know what?
Nah.
But you know what? Hey, look, go ahead.
I got offensive line as number 1, cornerback is number 2. But honestly, it depends on who falls there at offensive line. I think Fuaga is a guy that I really like. J.C. Latham is a guy I really like. But I like these corners too, man. I already talked about Kenyon Mitchell. He's a guy that I think is, very worthy of a first-round pick. Nate Wiggins, he was my CB1. But I think Quinyon Mitchell might have passed him up after his performance at the Combine and at the Senior Bowl. But those are 2 corners I really like a lot. So at defensive tackle, there's not a lot of guys that really, make me feel that they are worthy of the 13th overall pick. I guess I think the number 1 guy for the longest time was Jerzon Newton, but he's plummeting down draft boards. Again, a guy that's kind of shooting up is Murphy, but I wouldn't take him at 13. And then you have Sweat, but I think he's more of a second-round guy. Chris Jenkins, out of Michigan, is another guy I'm not taking him at 13. I'm taking if I'm the Raiders and we absolutely cannot get up for Jaden Daniels, I'm taking a right tackle at 13. I'm trading it back into the back end of the first round. I'm taking Michael Penix. He's a left-hand quarterback. He needs a strong right tackle. So you kind of solidify both positions right there. You get your quarterback of the future. He's a guy who's the plug-and-play starter, and you solidify your O-line. And I think you roll into the season feeling extremely good. And he's also a guy that he's one of the best deep passers in this draft, that also fits along with what we were talking about earlier in terms of Luke Getsy being very, very good at designing vertical passing routes. So I think that's like you kind of get everything you need right there.
Yeah, you know what? I get the logic of what you're saying too as well, because the better player might be in a different position, and I just said to you, get the best player available. Don't try to force a pick. But I was just thinking in the lines of like this, like if you got a head coach like Antonio Pierce and he's talking about a physical brand of football, especially a guy like Antonio Pierce, who's the defensive head coach, he wants to be physical. He wants to run the ball. He wants to oppose his physicality. And how you impose your physicality, the trenches need to be, the big boys need to be on point. So offensive line is definitely going to be number 1, I think. That's where it leads me to defensive tackle. But you make a good point. Maybe corner might be a better spot to take at that point in the draft, unless they trade down. They trade down, maybe defensive tackle becomes a position that they should target. Like the thing about, I think with defensive tackle, I think there's not that guy. There's not a Jalen Carter, but there's a lot of good players.
Yes.
There's a lot of good players at that spot, but there's not like a Jalen Carter where it's like, oh my God, can't miss. Yeah. You got to draft this guy. You know what I mean? I think it's just a lot of good players, and they can probably snag a guy maybe in the second round But hey, if you're going to be picking offensive line or corner and you still want to get a quarterback, then it probably makes sense to probably trade back in to get a quarterback. But you make a good point. If you grab a Penix, then getting a right tackle is going to be a big. That's a great point. It's going to be a big if they're able to do that. But yeah, man, the chat is going crazy, man. Hey, we appreciate everybody coming through. Anthony G says Terrell Pryor 2.0, but better, hopefully. Who are you talking about? You talking about
Jaden Daniels.
Jane Daniels. I remember. Hey, that's another guy that I would have said I wanted him to be one of my favorite Raiders. I was hoping that we had our Cam Newton at the time. Cam Newton was killing it at that time. I thought we had our quarterback super fast, but he just was not accurate, bro. At the end of the day, you gotta be able to complete a pass, and he just was not accurate. And he seemed like he was a good dude, but it just didn't work out. Just didn't work out as a quarterback.
And I still remember, man. I got that clip is in the intro too, man. That the run against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I remember his first start. I want to say it came against the Colts. It's when the Colts had Andrew Luck, and it was a game we should have won. I forgot why we didn't win that game, but it was a game we should have won. And I was like, yo, he kind of opened my eyes a little bit. Like, okay, Terrell Pryor might be a guy. He might be a guy, and it just never materialized for him.
Yeah. And Alec M says maybe Commanders get Cousins and trade with us for number 2 and Daniels. I'll be for that. Yeah, you know what? That's a great point. I wanted to get into free agency this show, but it was so much of the combine that we wanted to talk about. We'll probably talk about free agency next time we have a show. But yeah, man, paying attention to free agency, you kind of could almost predict how teams are going to attack the draft a little bit, because free agency is supposed to set you up for the draft. So if Kirk Cousins goes to Atlanta, for example, you can cross off Atlanta as a team that's going to target quarterback, because Kirk Cousins is going to demand some money. He's going to want to get paid. So they're not going to, put or invest all that money to get like a guy in the draft in the first round. So I don't think that's going to happen. But if the Commanders get Cousins, that's a game changer right there.
No,
that's
facts.
a game. If any of those teams in the top 3, whether it's the Patriots, the Bears, or the Commanders, get Kirk Cousins, the Raiders need to get on the phone and start. They need to make it happen. They need to figure out a way. Whether there's a will, there's a way, man.
And that'll be a homecoming for Kirk Cousins too. So
yeah, there you go, man. He was drafted by the Commanders. Yep.
Yeah.
For sure. 808 Raider says AP said it himself. He's playing with house money. Scare money don't make money. I think he pulls a trigger, trades the farm and the wife.
He said the wife. Oh, y'all can get it out of here.
He said the wife. Damn, man, I felt that right there. That was like, he's like, whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. But Tom Telesco is going to be a part of that decision-making process. So he's going to make it make sense. He's going to have to make it make sense. AJ Simpson says, what if it's Joe Milton late in the draft? The thing about Joe Milton, man, I'm not early on in the process. I was a little excited. I'm like, man, like the dude, crazy arm. We know he's big dude, 6'4", 6'5". He's mobile QB, but man, at the end of the day, you got to be accurate with the football, man. And I feel like there's going to be a learning curve with him. He's going to have to develop. I'm not as excited as I was because last year I was big on Anthony Richardson, but I don't think that they're not the same prospect at all.
No.
You know what I mean? And I think Joe Milton is a little bit older too, so it's like
he's like 4 years older than Anthony Richardson.
You know what I'm saying? And you're like not as accurate, and you're not as athletic, and you're not like, it's just like, man, like if Joe Milton is our guy that we drafted, I don't know what that means plan A, B, C, D, and E failed.
Everything failed. I mean, we didn't get Russell. Well, maybe we do get Russell Wilson in that situation, but think of it like Joe Milton is like he's like EJ Manuel. Like I don't see him ever being like good. Like it's just one of those guys that I don't know. I don't see him materializing. Like if you saw the Senior Bowl, oh my God. Joe Milton looked horrible.
Yeah.
So
he didn't look
it's
good at all.
like, I don't know, man.
And that's another guy too I forgot to mention that in my eyes didn't help himself was the guy that's like everybody's favorite mid-round QB. The QB out of Spencer Rattler. Spencer Rattler, man, you know, he didn't look like he was prepared for the combine. Like when you see him running that 40, I wish I had it up, man. I wish I had the video of him running a 40. It looked like he just ate. You know what I mean? Like when you just ate and you hella full, like it just looked like.
Know what I think it is? I think because you notice JJ McCarthy didn't run either. What a lot of these guys do, especially like these smaller guys or like thinner guys, they'll like super hydrate up and be like walking around with all this water weight on them, and then they'll lose that weight later on. That's what Bryce Young did last year. He artificially like increased his weight so he wouldn't like seem so thin. But those are the guys that don't. So usually guys that do that don't run. Guys who are going to run, they usually lose a bunch of weight. Like Roma Dunze, like he probably plays around like 225ish, but I think he weighed in at like 212 at the combine. So these dudes want to be as light as possible, so they run the best possible time. So dudes play those tricks. I think Rattler's probably doing some of the same thing. Like he's trying to artificially enhance his weight. He's already like a smaller frame guy. But yeah, that 40 that was a train wreck, man.
Man, I was like he literally, I think the 40 time was damn near 5 seconds. He ran it a 40 time that was just as fast as maybe Mims. Mims was like he ran his 40 at like what 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And Rattler ran his 40 at like what 4.9. 4.9. He ran a 4.9. So it's just like, oh my God, like he better make it up like during his pro day. He better have a pro day or something. He better have a pro day, man. But yeah,
Spencer
man.
Rattler looked like he scratched his hand, but Spencer Rattler looked like he scratched his belly with both hands. He had one of those, like
man. He did not look like he was in shape at all, bro. Like I understand, like, hey, look, you don't have to be the most. We just talked about the combine earlier, and we said, look, the combine is really it's basically an event for like athletes. Like the athletes are the guys that are gonna really kill this event. And Spencer Rattler might not be the athlete, but at least look like you in shape. Like at least if you're gonna run, don't decline to run. Like don't even run. Don't run. Why'd you run? Like
I don't know why. Man, I don't know.
Man,
why.
at least run like a 4.7. Golly, man.
Look uncoordinated and athletic. But I will say that during the throwing portion, him and Penix, in my opinion, were by far the most impressive. Yeah, him and Penix during the throwing session, him and Penix were by far the most impressive in my opinion. JJ McCarthy came in slightly behind them, but Penix and
I'm gonna look for that Spencer Rattler 40 right now. I just want y'all to see this, man, because it's hilarious. When I seen him run it, I gotta show you. Hold on 1 second. Let me pull this up. I'm gonna find this.
It makes
for
it
y'all.
worse because he's like low-key a ginger, so it makes it.
Oh my God, yeah, man. Mahomes' cousin. Let's see. But at least Mahomes ran a 4.7. Let's see.
Spencer Rattler.
Let me see. Spencer
like
Rattler.
Spencer Rattler was in the crib playing Fortnite the day before. Like he wasn't eating pizza, drinking grape soda.
Hey, maybe I might be exaggerating. I might be exaggerating, but let me just go here and share the screen real quick. Here's let's see. Here's Spencer Rattler's 40. Let's open up the screen.
Spencer Rattler looks like he could be Steph Curry's son.
For real, yeah.
He's the name. I talk about the top three, and I go, who do you like in the middle rounds? And this is the name that comes up more than any other. Why is that? He's intriguing because he's the name.
It wasn't
talk about
as bad
the top
as,
three, and I go, who do you like
looking
in
at
the
it right
middle
now,
rounds?
but
And this is
it just
name
looks
that comes
so
up more
like,
than
damn,
Why
is
is
that?
that?
Like,
he's intriguing because he's the name.
I think my man Rich Eisen. He runs like he runs like Rich Eisen.
Name that comes up more than any other. Why is that? He's intriguing because
Rich Eisen be running the 40. Oh man.
Man, I was looking at that. I was like, man, like he just didn't look like he was in shape. Like it didn't look like he prepared for the 40. Like at least, and a lot of these guys they're preparing for the 40. They're preparing for the combine. Like they're not probably planning on their playing weight. They're probably a little lighter than they are, or depending on what they're trying to do. If they're trying to come in and show that they, they're like, let's say if it's a guy that everybody's questioning how big he is, then he's probably gonna come like 15 pounds heavier than he usually plays. Or if it's a guy that's, people talk about his speed, then he's probably going to get down to small weight so he can run as fast as possible. Like, I get it. I get what they're trying to do, but Spencer Rattler, like, what was the point of doing that? What was the point of running 40 if you're going to run you run like an offensive lineman?
Like, what's bad is that it don't look like Spencer Rattler trained at all. Like, I was watching something. I can't remember who it was, but they were basically talking about like the things like when you're the things that you do when you're preparing for different events, right? So one of the things like when you're preparing for the 40-yard dash is that they great value version of Patrick Mahomes. One of the things they do is that they basically break down how many steps you need to take to complete the 40 in. So like they don't look at your time. They're like, you know what, if you can complete like the 40 in X amount of steps, like you're gonna have a good time. But like it don't look like he did none of the preparation at all. He had some like short, choppy steps, bro. Like it was bad, man. It was bad.
Hey, man, y'all clowning y'all clowning me right now.
Oh man.
He running like he forgot something in the kitchen for real.
He running like, when people be going to work and they running for the bus, like you're in a...
Man, when I seen her run, I was like, what the hell? Is this real? Like, and I might be overdoing it. I'm overdoing it. I was just like surprised. Like, I think going from, how well he showed out in the Senior Bowl, I think that everything was on an upward trend. And then I seen him run that 40. I was like, yeah. And you can see like why a lot of these prospects are strategically not participating in some of these events because they feel like they got more to lose than to gain. And like, hey, Spencer Rattler, if you need more time to prepare for it, then you might as well just wait until your pro day. But it is what it is, man. Look, he probably wants to go undrafted. He's not gonna go undrafted. He's not gonna go undrafted. No, not at all. I don't think the combine holds that much weight. Where if it was a player that they want, like maybe just a little bit, maybe it might give some players edges. But I don't think it holds that much weight where they're gonna really like do a lot of their due diligence is gonna come from them studying the tape, doing as far as like the type of athlete they are, all the type of person they are, all that stuff happens before the event. So like it's part of the process. So the downfall of Spencer Rattler, man, damn, that's crazy, bro. That Caleb Williams game where he came in like that's. Like it's crazy. He was like a first round pick. Like people were projecting him to go in the first round, like first pick.
Top 10. Woo. Top 10, possibly the number one overall, man. So the fact that he's but his value or his draft stock isn't based on his athleticism, right? It's not like he's like a Caleb. Like if Caleb Williams ran out there and ran a 4.96, like people look at Caleb Williams different, like, yo, bro, 4.96? Like, okay, maybe we have to go back and watch the film. Spencer Rattler, people know he's not like no runner like that. He's a guy that can move, but he's not a runner like that. His value is based on his arm. So I don't think his draft stock will be that damaged, but it's like, come on, bro, you got to do better than that, man. You got to do better than that.
No, facts. But hey, man, it's about that time, man. We actually went a little bit. It's overtime, man. We went a little longer than we usually do. We try to say an hour, but we usually goes to an hour and a half. But today we did like 2 hours because we had so much to talk about because of the combine, and we're just excited about the offseason for the Raiders and what the moves can look like in the future. But yeah, man, we appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to hit that. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, hit that notification bell. We're going live on both our channels, so make sure to subscribe to both channels, hit the like button, and comment as well, because, there's a lot of people commenting today. We couldn't get to every comment, every chat, but you can leave a comment after the video, you know what I mean? Like after this live ends, go down in the comment section, let us know your thoughts. who the Raiders can possibly get in the draft, free agency. Can we possibly trade up? Is a real thing? Your favorite quarterback prospect, whatever. Your favorite guys from the combine, like guys that stood out with that stood out in the combine as well. So just let us know in the comment section down below after the show ends, man. Make sure, like I said, make sure to hit that like button, man. Any last thoughts, Severe? Anything you want to let the people know what to look forward to?
Yeah, man. Before we get up out of here, I just want to make sure that I say Justin Fields still sucks, man.
He ends the show, man. That's like his thing, man. Justin Fields sucks. I think Justin Fields, bro. If he sees you out in these streets, man, he's gonna be like, hey, man, you got something to say to me, man? Say to my face, man. Like that's.
I'm like, Jay Daniels said that. What are you talking about?
That's hilarious. That's hilarious, man. But yeah, man. Hey, look. Next week's show, man. Hopefully, we'll have a guest, maybe later this week or next week's show. So be on the lookout for that. Also, we're gonna get into free agency. We promise we're gonna get into free agency. We just didn't have time to talk about it, man. We went on for like 2 hours. We mostly talked about the combine and the draft, but we're gonna talk about free agency next week because it's pretty much around the corner. I think in like a week or two, couple weeks. You know what I mean? It's pretty much here. So we'll talk about like the top players in free agency, guys that'll be a good fit.
It's next week. The league year starts next week, so I think it
starts next week. So it's gonna be perfect timing on Monday. So when we go live, we're gonna talk about free agency. So be on the lookout for that, and we're gonna have like some guests come through. So be on the lookout for that. But smoking, that's the Spirit 89, man. Severe rap. The Severe wrap up. He always got to say something about Justin Fields, man. Like at this point, I think something happened. Something happened between. I don't know, man. They had some problems, some beef back in the day. I don't know what it is, man. I don't know what it is, but it Fields. Hey, Alex says Fields not coming to the Raiders anyways, man. Hey, you never know, man. You never know. I've heard the Raiders connected to Justin Fields, and if that happens. I think that's the last time we're gonna see Severe on the show.
Man, I'm still every show.
Man.
Bro.
But yeah, like on that note, man, we appreciate everybody coming through. Hit the like button on the way out, man. Subscribe, all that good stuff, man. And I just want to thank y'all for 4K, man. I appreciate it, man. We're gonna keep growing. And my guy Severe as well, man. Like Severe is growing as well, man. Make sure to support my guy. But until next time, peace.
Peace.
Great Pharaoh, the gift of Troy is a fabulous fabric from the land of the 5 rivers.
Something about Ronald Murray when he was in high school.
Hits the edge 30, 35, 40. Midfield, the man breaks the tackle. He's gone! 10, 5, touchdown! Raiders!
Believe that the greatness of the Raiders would be in its future.
Just win, baby.
Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.